Hi, boys and girls. I'm going to read the Bible story for this week. We're on Bible story number 204, which is called The God Who Can Explain. Now remember, we're talking about Daniel and his three friends. They are faithful Hebrew, another word for that is Jewish boys, and they were living in their hometown of Jerusalem, and their town was taken over by an army that came and took them. They were taken back to a land that was not their land, and in this new land, they were noticed by the people in charge of that new land as being smart and strong and young and capable young men, kind of like you would be. If somebody came into our land, they would say, those are capable young men and women. And they would say, let's train them up so that they can help us lead this nation. And so they were training them up in the new land's ways, in their language, and in the way they celebrated their holidays, and all of their history, and in their new religion, which would, of course, not been the religion of worshiping the true God who created heaven and earth. And so Daniel and his friends had to be very careful while they were there. You remember that from last week. Now, at the end of last week, we learned about how the king had a dream. And when he had this dream, remember the king was Nebuchadnezzar, he had this dream, and he didn't know what it meant. And he was a grumpy king. And so he went and he said to his own advisors, the people from his own land, not only do you have to tell me what my dream means, you actually have to tell me, what did I dream? Now, if I said to you, boys and girls, what did Mrs. Gevert dream about last night? Is there any way that you could know that? Oh, of course not. There's no way you could know that. And there was no way these advisors could know what King Nebuchadnezzar had dreamed. There's no way. And so they were worried. And he said, well, if you can't do this, I'm going to chop all your heads off. And so that's where we left the story at the end of last week. That was kind of a hard place to leave, wasn't it? So today's story is called The God Who Can Explain. That sounds hopeful, doesn't it? Let's read it. As soon as Daniel heard the news that he and his friends, along with all the advisors, were to be put to death, he went to Arioch, the officer who was in charge. Please tell me why the king has given this order, he asked. When Arioch explained, Daniel went immediately to ask for everything to be put on hold until the next day so that he had time to give the king his answer. Then he went to find his three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Pray, he said to his three friends. Pray, all of you, he told them urgently. Ask God to tell me what the dream was about and what it means, so that all of our lives can be spared, including the advisors from Babylon. Then, I think this is interesting, then Daniel went to bed. He didn't stay up all night praying and worrying. He prayed, he asked his friends to pray, and then he went to sleep. He trusted God had heard their prayers. During that night, God told Daniel all that he needed to know. He felt so full of praise to God that he burst out singing when he woke up. I give you praise, God of my ancestors. You have given me wisdom and strength. You have answered my prayer, and you have shown us what to tell the king. The next morning, Daniel returned to the man in charge. Don't put the king's advisors to death, he said. Take me to your king, and I will tell him what he dreamed. Arioch said, okay, and he led the way. And Arioch, the guy in charge, said, I have found one of your Jewish exiles. And now an exile is somebody who's living in a place that's not his own place. I have found one of your Jewish exiles who is able to tell your majesty his dream and what it means, he announced. Can you tell me my dream and explain what it means? Nebuchadnezzar asked Daniel. I like Daniel's answer. He goes, nope. Is that what you thought he would say? He says, nope. No one on earth can do that, your majesty. Is that true? No one on earth can do that. What was Daniel saying? Stop and tell somebody, or think out loud, say it out loud. What do you think Daniel was saying to the king when he said, nope, no one on earth could do that? Daniel answered fearlessly, there is no wise person, no fortune teller, no magic person who is clever enough to do that. But there is a God who made the heavens and the earth, and he is in heaven and he knows all things. And he has chosen to make this mystery clear to me. I like that. So when the king said, can you explain my dream, what I dreamed and what it means? You're standing here in front of me. You say you can do it. Can you do it? And what does Daniel say? Nope. No one on earth could ever do that. But what? There is a God who made the heavens and the earth, and he knows all things. And he has chosen to make this mystery clear to me. I love that answer. Don't you love that answer? All right, boys and girls, remember to thank God out loud every day. Love you. Bye.